What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and also I hope you've watched yesterday's video and Sunday's video so that you can get an understanding of my bias for the week. So you can see that Tuesday gave us quite a large expansion to the upside. I wasn't expecting this expansion this early in the week, but nonetheless it is in line with our expectation of wanting to see some kind of pullback and draw back into this range. So obviously when we see a large expansion like this, especially now that it's, disrespecting the bearish PD arrays we were originally paying attention to, we need to start thinking about where it could be that price is drawing to exactly. So firstly, I got my eyes set on these relative equal highs up here. So I do want to see if price can continue to make its way towards these highs, and then that would mean that we can start thinking about these imbalances in this premium as well for price to potentially attempt to fill on dollar. So let's get this marked out for now. And again, definitely go check out yesterday's video, because I was stating I'm not thinking about premium PD arrays until we see a willingness to want to go in that direction, and that's what price is giving us today, which is why we can now start thinking about these. Now, if we are to see a continuation to the upside, we can start looking at these down close candles, which we've now traded through, and using them as a level of price that can help us form potential setups. So let's get rid of this south side liquidity right here. We're going to get rid of this weekly bearish order block open as well. This is a weekly implied fair value gap. The fact that we've closed above it so strongly as well, I don't necessarily want to see price drop back below it for the rest of the week. Now, don't get me wrong, price can do that, and looking at how price has been moving for the past 3 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But generally speaking, I'd like to think that this level can hold itself, and then we can start looking at these highs and these wicks to help provide support. What I do have my eyes set on specifically is definitely this down close candle before this massive up move that we can see. So let's get the high off that marked out. We'll make it black. And then as we drop down to the low time frames, we'll see if there's any PD arrays that are resting around that level that we could use as potential setups to form. And then I'll be looking at this high moving into Wednesday to get taken. So although I want to see price draw up to here, moving into Wednesday, specifically tomorrow, I want to see this get respected, and this will be my target. And then again, if price wants to be overzealous, then we can start thinking about these premium PD arrays. Now obviously it's non-farm payroll week, and again, it's a bit ugly the fact that we're staying within this consolidation, but we do need to take these things into consideration. So let's go down to the 4 hour, and you can see how we've had a very large expansion to the upside. So what's this? This is a willingness to want to go higher. Now at this point, this is where we start looking at breakers, which is the last up close candle before the down move that created the up move for setups. So we have a low here, we have a high here, we have a lower low here, and then obviously we have this beautiful expansion to the upside, running out buy stops. So that means I've got my eye set on these highs, and remember this level is from the daily as well. So if we just mark out this range in general, now we have a nice discount where we'd expect price to be able to find support, and you can see it's already done so here on this candle around 7 a.m. But bear in mind this is a 4 hour. So moving into tomorrow, I'm happy for price to come back down into this discount. Generally speaking, I don't really want to see it drop down below here, just because that would show a level of weakness, which isn't ideal for my bias of wanting to see price keep pushing on higher, taking out buy stops, and again potentially reaching for our premium. Because as far as we're concerned, if we're now bullish and this is a change in the market direction, that means all this downwards price action should be getting filled very easily, and price should just be able to slip right through it like a hot knife through butter. Price should just be able to go straight through it and start running straight up to where imbalances in the premium and buy side liquidity, because there's going to be stops of resting above there. So let's now go down to the 1 hour and take a close look at price, and then you can see now if this isn't you see this area here, we've got a low, high, higher low, and price has made a higher it's trading on higher. Let's add GBP to the mix and see how price acted there, because this is where you want to look for divergence, and if you find it, it's generally supportive of price. So you can see we also made a lower low here on GBP, and then what we can also add is euro, and then this will kind of confirm a potential bias. And this is our divergence right here. Absolutely gorgeous. So why is this important? You can see that euro grabbed stops and then traded lower. However, pound was supporting dollar's movement of failing to take out that same high and traded on lower, and then dollar doing the same. So at this time, at 4 a.m. Monday, if you were to look at divergence at that point and notice this divergence, that would have been an indicator for us that, okay, it's likely that dollar's going to continue to show strength because it's failing to take out lows, and then GBP would be the pair to trade because it's showing a level of weakness which is supportive of dollar. And you can see that pound has fell off quite precipitously in line with that, and then obviously euro as well. But the fact that euros ran out those stops but pounds failed to, again, this is more support. So this is all confluence for us to expect a continuation to the upside, so we can continue to start looking for bullish PD arrays that can support this. So again, moving into the new day, let's go down to the 15-minute, and you can see our price came down and is finding support in this range. I'm happy any kind of discount that the new days offer. So moving into Wednesday, let's get Wednesday delineated, which will be the 2nd. Welcome to October, guys. The cold is coming if it's not there already. We'll mark out Wednesday, and obviously we have this massive range. But then again, as we trade Asia in New York, after Asia in the London session, I want to see price drop down, create a discount, and then I just want to see continuation, and I want to see price keep pushing up towards our premiums. So that's what I'm expecting moving into the new day. Where specifically? Well, let's go back to the 15-minute. And I do like the look of this long, massive bullish order block right here. You see how it's finding support in this bullish order block. I'll now be looking at this one. So let's just draw out this range in general. And I would like to think that price can find support in it. Now, this is a massive range, mind you. But my point is, I don't really want to see price dropping much below that. I'd like to think that this can hold itself and continue to show support. And that'll be very good for us because, again, it'll allow us to look for potential setups and expect that Monday high to run out with an expectation to draw up towards our premium PD arrays. So let's drop down to the 5-minute one more time, take a closer look. And you can see, again, bullish order blocks are residing in that. Let's go to the 1 minute. I don't usually go to the 1 minute on dollar unless I'm trading on the 1 minute, so there's not really much down here. But what I'm expecting is the Asian range to form, and then I'll be looking for a drop down below that or to the discount of it. And for the rest of the day, I would want to see continued expansion to the upside. So yeah, that's going to be everything on dollar. I hope that all makes sense. Very nice day today. A lot more simple than the rest we've had. As you can see, we just opened, dropped into the Asia range, failing to take out the low of the Asia range as well, which is interesting. And then just expansion for the rest of the day. So pretty classic in terms of delivery. Let's now head on to GBP USD. So we'll start here on the daily, and you can see the massive expansion we had on the Tuesday to the downside. Now, again, if you haven't watched yesterday's video, definitely go check that out. That's what this A and B thing I've got marked out is. But this is classic displacement. So we have a down close candle that's closed below significant swing lows, and we're now starting to hunt for sell stops. How do you know? We're taking out these lows. The bullish order block right here failed to hold itself up, and yeah, it's just clear displacement. So now we can start looking for a pullback into some kind of mitigation for us to get in on our potential positions to keep sending price lower. So what I'm going to do, just to make it a little bit clearer, is I'm going to remove everything, and now I'm looking at this low. So we have a high, a low, a high, a high, and then we have this beautiful displacement. So now I'm looking at these lows as a breaker block, and breakers are pretty much my favorite setups, generally speaking. So if price trades back up into this, I'd expect to find quite a lot of resistance. Then we can start hunting for more sell stops and running towards sell side liquidity. So we've got these lows down here as a potential target. And although we have a bullish order block, and this may be sensitive to price, if we are bearish, we shouldn't really be worried about this bullish order block acting as one. We should be more so looking for price to trade through it and trying to reach for the lows and any kind of fair value gaps that we see available. So I'm not really going to pay attention to the open of the bullish order block like I would if we were on the buy side of the curve. The fact that it's potential that we're having a large reversal at this point, we should start looking at lows and ranges, because remember, wicks are ranges too, wicks are gaps too. So as far as I'm concerned, this is an imbalance. So in this range, as we drop down to the lower time frames, 4 hour, 1 hour, there should be a fair value gap in there that price may be able to use to try and trade down into. I also like the look of this long wick. If we look at the 50% level, that also lines up beautifully with our breaker low. So even more reason why we should find rejection at that level, because we're back on the sell side, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's go down to the 4 hour. We'll take a look. and you'll see these lows that we've just about grabbed, and then we have a bullish order block here. But again, I'd like to see some kind of miniature rallying in the London session or in Asia to create a premium, and then I want to see continued downwards pressure towards the sell side. Let's see if the hourly could show us any potential fair value gaps that we may want to trade into, and there is one right here that lines up with the 50% level on the hourly. So let's get that marked out as a potential target for price. Drag that right through. We're going to get rid of this large range like so, and now we have a discounted PD array that we can look to trade to moving into tomorrow. Where's the 15-minute? Again, beautiful delivery to the downside. This, I do believe, is just a retracement, and you know, it'll be very typical for price to rally one more time before trading on lower. So yeah, we'll allow for that, but tomorrow I would like to think that we can find quite a classic day. And then depending on what PD arrays have been traded to by the time we get to Thursday, then we can start thinking about NFP. But generally speaking, that shouldn't be getting traded to. But looking at the way and how quickly we're trading to the downside, you know, it looks like we're at a pretty significant turn, which is nice to see because the markets can finally loosen up a little bit. So we're going to finish up on Euro USD. We'll start on the daily here as well. And again, crazy displacement to the downside. We've filled a fair value gap on the daily. But again, if we're bearish, we want to see these fair value gaps get traded to and through and then used as resistance. So let's drag this out. And we know now once we're back below it, I want to see the fair value gap act as a bearish fair value gap, and then I'll be simply targeting sell stops below there. In terms of breakers, well, we got a high, we got a low. I'm looking at this low because it's a down close, higher high, and then obviously displacement. So we can look at this low right here, and the same thing. If price any kind of rallying into these ranges, I want to be looking for short and opportunities on price. To then, with the expectation that price will then run for the lows and sell stops, especially with displacement like this to the downside. And I do like the way that price again has run out buy stops one last time on euro, whilst pound and dollar hasn't, and then I want to see a continuation to the south side. We'll drop down to the 1 hour, see what we can find. And it's difficult because obviously I make these videos before the Asia range or just as Asia's starting, and then Asia range has such a big impact on trading decisions and such. But what I'm saying is basically once we get into that new day, any kind of rallying, I'm looking for that above the Asia range or within the Asian range to then look for opportunities for shorts. And then I'd want to see I would want to see New York expand lower and just keep seeing a continuation to the downside. So yeah, that's going to be everything for now. I hope that all makes sense. Very interesting day. It's nice to see some displacement finally. It's going to be interesting to see where we're at when it does get to non-farm payroll, because this is a lot of movement at the beginning of the week. But nonetheless, I have got my eyes set on these stops below here. We do have our breakers because these are significant swing lows that we're now displacing from. So they should be sensitive to price, and we want to see that continue to fight that idea. Want to see continued support within that. And yeah. So that's going to be everything, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list, join the Discord, blah, blah, blah. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.